Hello friends, I'm Daniel, and this is a wall. What is the wall? The wall is experimentation, creativity, originality, genuinity, genuineness. It's a genuine thing. You've probably seen all these beautiful pictures online of wall treatments people have done. I'm not talking about paint or wallpaper, but three-dimensional like trim work people have done on walls that's really beautiful.
Oh yeah, right.
And you think, man, there's no way I could do that. It's super complex. It's probably super expensive. But if you slow down and look really closely, most of those designs are made up of products that you can get at Lowe's, and they're not even that expensive, and they're pretty easy to work with. They've just brought them together in a creative way. So this series is about trying to break the code on those, trying to see if we can get some of those designs, some of those looks easily, and we'll see if they work. You in? You want to try it? Okay, so the first design I want to try, I'm really excited about. I've been waiting to try it. I call it the diamond panel pattern. Essentially what we're doing is we're making a grid, a diamond grid on the wall using some paneling. It'll pop off of the wall and look kind of embossed, or the opposite of embossed, whatever. I think the first step of this project is probably going to be the trickiest, and that is making a grid on the wall so that we'll have a guide to go by when we start attaching the panels themselves. The way I'm going to try it is by using a series of chalk lines. If you had two people, this step would probably be a little bit easier. I'm by myself, so I'm going to mark every 6 inches along the top and along the bottom, and then on the top line, I'm going to lightly tap in a nail every 6 inches to hang the chalk line on so I can pull it taut and hit it. Cool? Let's try it. Let's dive in. Alright, so now I'm lightly going to tap in these little nails to hold the chalk line.
So using the 6-inch spacing is going to ultimately give you about 4-inch by 4-inch squares for your grid. That was about as small as I wanted to go. You could go smaller, just keep in mind you're going to be adding even more chalk lines. Speed square is also really helpful here because it's just a good checkpoint to make sure your lines are all at 45 degrees. This is using a lot of chalk. If you're doing this many chalk lines, make sure you pick up enough chalk. I'm not even sure this is going to be enough. They make a bigger tub. Make sure you have enough.
Ooh, okay, well that wasn't so bad. A little tedious and a little messy, but overall a little bit easier than I expected. So we've essentially turned the wall into grid paper. I need to finish up the corners, but other than that, the bulk of it is done, and we're moving on.
Alright, so it's a good idea to plan out your pattern. I printed this picture of the wall. You could also just use grid paper. Not only is it a checkpoint to make sure your design looks right, but it also will help you get a pretty accurate count of what pieces you're going to need to cut. So this is what I'm going for, and it's time to get cutting.
So the beauty of this project is most of your measurements are identical. So you can just set the fence on your table saw and make the cuts really easily. Now that said, it's a few cuts. It's quite a few cuts. Okay, it's a lot of cuts.
Alright, so all the cuts are done. It's time to start getting the panels on the wall. It's nail gun time. Oh, I got the wrong gun. So I'm shooting 18 gauge nails with a 16 gauge gun. Not good, it's smashing them. So I gotta go get my brad nailer. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Moral of the story, read the words. Let's try this one more time. So I got some of the bigger squares up. As you probably noticed, I'm just putting nails in. I'm using 2-inch nails. It's holding pretty steady. This is not super heavy material. If you were using something thicker, you could always put a little bit of construction adhesive on the back of these.
and then nail them in as well. But your choice. I'm not doing it, but you can do it. All right, now let's try some smaller pieces. Okay, so these partial pieces you have to cut here are another place where the grid lines really come in handy. You can just about eyeball it, or you can just measure from where you know your top corner is going to be down to the bottom, and the same on the ceiling as well, on the sides.
Use your table saw's miter gauge for this step. It'll save a lot of time.
Superman!
The final pieces. All right, final step, painting. What? Haven't you ever seen The Weekender? So I'm gonna try using this electric paint sprayer. All right, here we go.
So you could paint this by hand, but honestly a textured wall like this, I think a paint sprayer is almost essential. Now we just let it dry and see what happens.
All right, what do you think? I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's kind of cool. It actually was not quite as hard as I thought it would be. I think my initial thought about the chalk lines being the hardest part was true. But even so, it wasn't that crazy. With a little patience, definitely doable. So I want to hear what you guys think of this video in general. Would you like to see me tackle more designs? Or is this good? You're good. Let me know. And lastly, if you have an idea of a wall that you want me to try, please, please, please post the link below and we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day.